This video I'll be showing you very quickly how to use the online graphing calculator that you'll be allowed to use for the test. It is on a website called Desmos.com, so you want to start by typing that in your calculator, or not your calculator, your browser, and then this is the home page right here. If you just hit graphing calculator, it'll open the graphing calculator for you. Now, you can do a lot with this graphing calculator, but just for the very basics of what you'll need, if you might need it at all, for this class, if you want to graph an equation, all you do is you click over here, which is automatically blinking for me, and type in the equation you want to graph. Just start with y equals, just like you would in a normal graphing calculator. Let's say we want to graph like y equals x, and then raised to the 5th power. You can press the caret button on your calculator, which is what, Shift and 6 to bring up the exponent, or if you click on this button down here, this will bring up the calculator buttons for you, and you can click this a to the b power. What this will do is that it'll put you in the exponent. Let's say we want to do x to the 5th plus x minus 1. Just throwing out a random thing we want to graph. Actually, this one isn't as good as I was hoping. I just want to make sure I can show you the 4 main things that it'll point out on the graph. But this is just a random graph, y equals x to the 5th minus x minus 1. On the graph, every graph will do find all of these 4 points. It'll locate all your x-intercepts, and if you hover over it, it'll give you the coordinate pairs for that. It'll also give you the y-intercept, which you see right here on the y-axis. Just hover over it to get the coordinates. And this next part is going to make more sense later in the class, but it also gives you the maximums and minimums, local maximums and minimums. This right here, since it's the top of a little hill, it's called the local maximum. But you'll see that if you hover over it, it also gives you the coordinates of that. And then a local minimum is like the bottom of a valley. You'll see that more later. The point is that these graphs automatically give you those 2 things, maximums and minimums. You just hover over it and it will tell you the coordinates. And if it'll give you any graph you want, it'll give you all of these things. So if you have like, I'm trying to think of a quick example, but if you have many maximums, many minimums, I'm just trying to find one that'll have some multiple ones. I guess it's not as easy to figure out as I thought it would be. Oops. This should work. All right, so this one here, just a random function. You can see that this has 4 x-intercepts and it gives you all of them. The y-intercept is also an x-intercept, but that's highlighted. But the thing I wanted to show you is it gives you all of these things if you have multiple points. So we have 2 minimums on this one, it gives you both, and you have 1 maximum, it gives you that. So these graphs, if you do it, it gives you everything as far as maximums, minimums, x-intercepts, y-intercepts. You might have to scroll in and out to find them. As you can see, this was like the standard window here to zoom in, and then this is to zoom out. So you might have to adjust, and then you can also grab the graph and move it around. And you'll notice that when I click away from it, this shades goes away, which means it doesn't highlight anything, but if you click back on it, it'll label all your points again. But you can move it around, zoom in or out, and that should be really all you need for the graphing calculator. If you need to add a second one, you just click down here next to the 2, and you just graph the second graph, and it will put it in a different picture for you. It also labels the colors. See, the first one's red and the second one's blue. You won't lose track of that. You don't have to worry about the range and step here. Just whatever your equation is, type that in. All right, now, as far as the scientific calculator thing goes, it has your normal numbers for arithmetic. And then if you click on functions, we won't be using the trig stats or dist. This stands for distribution, not distance in this class. But if you hit the miscellaneous one, the misc, pretty much the ones we'll be using at some point will be the logs. And then there's also a radical button here. But you probably won't use any other ones. But this is the graphing calculator that, like I said, if you want to do the arithmetic, you do click in here. Let's say I want to simplify 4, just to show it, 4 plus 5, and then it'll tell me what it simplifies to. Right? So you don't have to do only graphs, but if you feel more comfortable using a scientific calculator to do the arithmetic, I understand. This one, it doesn't work too well with fractions, so if you do 4/5 plus 3, it'll give you the decimal. Oops, don't have that equal sign. It won't give you the fraction like you might want. Oh, I guess it does. You just click on that. Learn something new. Right, but that's the calculator you're allowed to use on the test.